I want to move Braden to the off the field stuff because again, I know I've harped on it a lot, but you just can't tell your story without mentioning everything you've overcame to get to this point. But I want to shift gears a little bit in a different direction. Just talk about, you're a man of faith, and we've had conversations again off air about different things regarding life and of course baseball, but life and a little bit more deeply, kind of like what motivates you and what inspires you, and just the type of dude you are and stuff like that, and just kind of talk about that because I'm sure that's something that's had to or has been something that has kept you positive, kept you moving through all the adversity and through everything that's come your way. And I know you're a guy that believes everything happens for a reason, which I think is the right perspective to have. And I think you have a lot of great perspective on things as well. But just talk about how that's assisted in your journey. Again, like I said, you're a man of faith, and I know that's a big thing for you. So I'll give you the floor to kind of talk about, kind of what inspires you and what's kind of led you to this point, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, basically the biggest one obviously is my relationship with God, and it's not perfect. It'll never be perfect. And people don't realize that. It's like they see, professional athletes who claim that they're Christians who go out and party and have a good time all the time, and like there's nothing wrong with going and doing those things, all in moderation. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I can go out and have a good time with my friends and not even take a sip of alcohol or do anything. Like that's just, I mean, it's not an excuse. And for me, faith has always kept me grounded and has always kept me moving because I personally, like I said, I've been stubborn in the past. I've done things that I probably shouldn't have done just because I wanted to do them. And faith always kind of, it's like for me, you go out off the path a little bit and then it just like it like reels you back in.
Mm.
Fishing pole, reel it in, work, like TikTok.
Right.
Nah, but like I said, like faith for me just has always kept me driven. And people ask me all the time, like, what drives you outside of faith or your relationship with God? And for me, it's to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. Like I had to figure out that I'm not in competition with anybody else. I'm in competition with the person who looks back at me in the mirror every morning.
Mm.
And once I figure that out, it's just like I hit the ground running. Like I stopped caring about what other people had going on in their lives. I started worrying
Right.
about more about what I'm doing, who I am. Like my worst thing that I got going on for me right now is I'm addicted to Dr. Pepper and I can't stop. Like I was a guy though that I dipped all the time. I
Right.
drank all the time. Like there's just extracurricular activities that I was doing that
Right.
I
Weren't constructive.
weren't constructive, and they were
Right.
they were bringing me down. And I talk about leaving things in the past and negative energy and stuff. Like that was my negative energy. Like I was doing all those things and it was hindering blessings for me.
Mm.
And so I gave that up. I started a diet. Like I started focusing on you know me and what I've got going on, and staying in my own lane. And once I started doing that, it was like everything else became more freeing.
Mm. Yeah,
It
and
was easy.
I was just gonna say, I think that's part of your journey, man. It's like we all learn that your thoughts become your reality. Your thoughts become your actions, become your reality, and
Yeah, but
manifestation. Like I know you're
yes,
big into that too, and like yeah. I mean, it
yeah,
sounds so
like
simple, but it takes a lot of self discipline, and it's very difficult for sure.
yeah, but that's like you want to talk about manifestation. Like you could sit here and tell me that you want to be the biggest sports show ever,
Right.
or that you are going to be the biggest sports show ever. But if you're not putting forth action into those words, then they're
Mm.
just words and they don't mean anything
Yeah,
to me.
for sure, for sure. Agree,
And
100%.
like I'm not gonna. I don't want to be that person
Mm.
that my actions don't speak just as loud as my words, if not louder. Like I'm trying to be about that action.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's definitely, again, we could go off on a whole different tangent about this, but I definitely think that's something like, you're right. Like that's, for some people, that is the missing piece. Like you can read as many books as you, and it's even about like starting in anything, businesses, relationships, sports. Like you can read as many books as you want, watch as many videos, and you can become inspired. Like if you don't take action, nothing will happen. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it's interesting though. I think about this a lot. I feel like athletes are really good at like manifestation, if you will, because you think about it. You spend your entire career. That's what you do. You visualize everything. You visualize that next pitch. If you're a golfer, you visualize that shot. So, I definitely think, I got your text, by the way. I definitely think athletes kind of, you're a basketball player. You visualize that shot going in. Football, same way, everything. So,
Well,
I don't know.
I do a lot of visualization just off the mound. Like I'll stand
Yeah.
there and I'll look at an empty home plate and visualize myself throwing a pitch, and then I'll go through the motion, act like I hit that pitch.
Right.
And I'll repeat that for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah, because I mean, one of my favorite things I love to say is that there's no guarantees if you keep a positive outlook and a positive attitude. No guarantees positive things will happen. I mean, baseball is literally a great definition of that. Baseball is a game of good intentions and not always good results. I mean, just bottom line, that's how the ball is round, the game is random. But if you have a negative attitude, it's 100% guarantee something bad is probably going to happen.
Oh yeah,
you can't
100%.
beat a bad attitude. So again, not the coach speak has entered the chat.